So let's begin. Let's begin at the beginning, the absolute beginning. What is it that humans most want? Above everything else, what is it that humans want? Happiness. Happiness. And how do humans believe they get happiness? We believe that happiness comes from the things that we create and acquire in our lives. But I'll ask you this, right? If you absolutely knew that the thing that you currently want, if you got it, it would bring hordes of unhappiness, would you still want it? Let's say, like, I'm eyeing up a new Mac computer and it's the latest iteration and I really want it and I get it, but someone said, you know what, if you buy that, you're going to have bugs and hard drive crashes and none of your software's going to work and you're going to be stuck with it, and they've stopped the refund policy. You wouldn't want it. So in reality, this reliance on things and circumstances to make us happy is inherently flawed. So what is happiness? Let's go there. Happiness, and this is where the problem lies, happiness as defined by that model of acquisition is a set of favorable circumstances that you agree with. So it's extremely individual, because someone else's set of circumstances that makes them happy might be completely different to your set of circumstances that makes you happy. And that's where wars start from. That's where arguments start from. That's where relationships break down from. So one of the issues with this dependence and reliance on circumstances as a model for happiness is that there's clashes. The other one, and arguably the bigger problem, is circumstances continually change. And if you've anchored your happiness to the current set of circumstances, then your happiness is always going to be unreliable. An example, so this is a walk I like to do. It's a beautiful river and trees. Now there used to be trees all on this side as well, and some people prefer that. They don't like it that all these trees have been cut down. Others think it's really nice that you can now see the river. So some people are happy, some people are sad. I'm not getting in that game. It is what it is. Last year it was a tree walk, now it's a rivery walk. Still, it's nice, it's just different. Look, nice flowy river. Before it looked like that, trees. So when we know that happiness is currently based on changing circumstances, and that circumstances change, which means that our happiness is unpredictable, and also that change in circumstance, we believe we have some control over it, but you know, at best we might have 5% control. Like, I decided to come and walk here today. That's some control, an illusion of control, because it goes deeper than that. But there is at least an appearance of control. I decided to go for a walk. But what happens here is out of my control. It might rain, mild thing. They might close it up here and say, sorry, we're doing building work, you can't carry on. It's unlikely, but someone might attack me. I mean, I'm in Thailand, they're pretty nice people, but that could happen. The whole river could flood. There could be a flash flood and masses of water come down here. The water last month was up to the road level. There were floods all over Chiang Mai. And war could break out between two countries and they could accidentally fire a rocket here. I could find £1 million on the floor. I could meet a whole bunch of wonderful people living in the forest. Like, I'm being silly now, but my point is, anything can happen. And if I go on this walk, and let's use walk as a metaphor for life, if I go on this walk with a fixed idea about what would make me happy, and there's expectations about where I should be on that walk at certain times, and the speed that I should be walking at, and who I should be walking with, and what I should be doing while I'm walking, if all that's already fixed in the mindset which we call culture, personal and collective, then I'm literally going to be constantly buffered against changing circumstances, reference to an arbitrary idea of how this walk should go. And that's going to dictate my happiness. And some people, unfortunately, they jump off, they jump in the river, I mean, metaphorically, they jump off the path. And the whole way that we understand happiness to be is incorrect and flawed. Now, there's a better way to view happiness. Happiness is the foundational basis of the nature of our mind. Its nature is happiness. Very hard to see that for certain people, for most people I would say. But if you think about it, when there's nothing going on, you tend to be happy. I mean, for a moment. If nothing happens for too long, you start getting sad again, right? But just in those fleeting moments, happiness is. How do I know this? What happens when you see a baby smile? Fleeting moment of happiness. What happens when you see a wonderful vista? Fleeting moment of happiness. What happens when you have a first kiss? Fleeting moment of happiness. What do all of these things have in common? The mind just goes yes. It has a full yes for the current set of circumstances. What does that lead us on to? If you can agree with the current set of circumstances, you unleash your happiness. Some people call this letting go, or letting things be as they are, or stop worrying about it, or accept it as it is, and all these other words. They're all approximations. But it's allowing the spacious nature of your mind to be in the forefront for a minute. That's what a baby's smile does. That's what a first kiss does. And it's not that those are the things that are valuable, that are really nice, or music, really nice music, or the sun on your face in the morning, or jumping into a cool pool. All of these things just allow your mind to go away for a moment. It just says, yes, I'm not needed. And in that not needing the mind, the spaciousness is apparent. It's already there, just like the sun is always shining when there's clouds, but when the clouds clear, you see the sun. And that's all it is. And the clouds aren't even a problem, because they're still sky. And that's a bit further on this discussion. But just for now, happiness is the agreement of the current constellation of circumstances in your life. And you have a choice about that. You can choose to be happy with your current set of circumstances. Now, at first, that's an active practice. I'm going to choose this moment as if I really chose it. I'm going to behave as if I chose this moment. It's a practice. But the more you start to understand the nature of existence, the more that becomes a genuine, instinctive acceptance. Because it's not even an acceptance. It's a genuine celebration. It's a celebration. Let's go over here because it just looks nice and green. Look at these colours. Look. It's really green. So yeah, a bit of sunlight. Oh, that's nice. You see? Yes. Right, it opens up. And it's literally just practicing allowing things to be as they are, just momentarily, it doesn't stop you practically fixing things. Like, I can allow, let's say it started raining and I don't have an umbrella, I could allow it to be as it is and seek shelter over in the bandstand over there. If I'm hungry and I'm far cycling somewhere, I can allow it to be as it is and find something to eat. Right? Or if I'm too tired, there's big spider webs here. Look at that one. Oh, sorry guys, I'm crushing little spiders' webs. Let's go this way. Wow, they're massive. I'm gonna go back. Here we go. Oh, there's one there. Don't want to break their houses. What must it be like having a giant walk through a house you've just built? But I bet they're leaving it as it is. I bet there's no spiders over there going, that damn human broke my house, took me 3 weeks to do that. They'll just repair it. So yeah, so just let circumstances be as they are. And if you're just new to this, just let some circumstances be as they are. The ones that you can. Easy ones. You're making a salad and you've run out of tomatoes. That's pretty quiet. We could do that, right? We could just be like, okay, fair enough, right? And try it with yourself and try it with people you're close to. If someone does something that normally irritates you a little bit, maybe they've got a laugh that, I'm just making this up, maybe they've got a laugh that annoys you or something, I don't know, just let it be as it is. Because waking up to your true nature and then allowing it to inhabit your own mind and then allow it to habit your behavior and allowing it to inhabit your conduct and your emissions and everything else that you do, all your interactions, it's a slow process. It's like the melting of an iceberg or the melting of a glacier. It just takes time. And what's beautiful about it is it's lovely from the beginning. It's lovely from the first melt. You know, the first little bit of freedom that you taste from having no freedom or limited freedom. It's delicious and it just increases. So, but it begins with that. It begins with changing your definition of happiness away from collective circumstances. Just looking at these big spider webs. Away from your collective set of circumstances and how they must be for you to feel happy, to the happiness beyond circumstance that's always present. And you know it's present because it's not easy to explain, but it's like when you sleep. Let's try this. When you go into deep sleep, that's pure happiness. It's why we like sleep. We think we're unaware when we're asleep, but we're just unaware of any circumstances. There's no circumstances when you're in deep sleep. It's just you're the mind. You're the deepest sense of knowing, beyond appearances, beyond sensations, beyond thinking. There's just deep sleep. And it's beautiful. It's what we're fueled by. It's why we do it for a period of time, every 24-hour period, and some say a third of our lives. A third of our lives we spend in samadhi, sleeping. And we just don't notice it because we close our eyes, we wake up. But we know we've been asleep. So we must have been aware, because otherwise there would just be jump cuts. I'd be going like this, and I'd go, and I'd be like, what happened? I wouldn't know I went to sleep. But you know you've been to sleep. So there is the consciousness there, that's always present. So that is happiness. So imagine now adding circumstances to that deep sleep. Right, let's pretend that you woke up much slower than you did. You woke up and first you felt your toes. You accept it as it is. Then you wake up a bit later. You're not waking up, you're sensing. And then you feel your knees. And then perhaps you feel your elbows, and then sound comes in, and then light comes in. But you're accepting all of these circumstances as they arrive. into this spacious place. You're accepting these circumstances arriving into this spacious place, one by one. And then memories come in, and plans come in, and future to-dos show up, and the activity of the day starts, and then you start moving about. But you've been accepting all of these new circumstances because they come in one by one. That is the asana of awakening. To be in that natural posture of spacious openness to whatever is appearing. And it's what our innate nature does. But we don't see it, not because we're not doing it, it's because it's peppered with thoughts that we're not doing it. That's a very different thing. It's peppered with thoughts that we're not doing it, right? So relax. Relax as the spaciousness that is always there. It's like, if you imagine up here, up there, that leaf doesn't believe it's a tree, and we really get focused on it. I'll go to this one here. So imagine that this leaf, this one, doesn't believe it's a bush, and it's complaining, I'm not a bush, I'm not a bush, I'm not awake, I'm not enlightenment, I'm not spaciousness, I'm not a bush, I'm not a bush, I'm not a bush. And as you pull away, you realize it's a bush. The fact that it doesn't think it's a bush doesn't change reality. So the fact that you don't think that you're awake, if you don't, maybe you do, hope so, but if you don't, that doesn't change your spacious nature. It's just another appearance within it. You know, when I hear people say that they're not awake, or they are awake, none of it matters, because wakefulness doesn't care. It just is. It just is. There's no problem. It's not like, oh, that person said they're awake, so they're awake, and that person says they're not, so they're not. It doesn't care. It just is. Look at this beautiful place. Isn't it lovely? Look. Look. Yeah, so let me be clear. The goal is not to silence the mind. The goal is not to stop the mind saying stupid stuff. The goal is not to train the mind to thinking a different way. That can help in the functioning of your life, like building a skill set, which is useful and beneficial, but it doesn't define happiness. Happiness is the acceptance of what is, including your own resistance, including your own denial of your nature, including your own refutation, if that's a word, of the current set of circumstances. It's all glorious wakefulness shining brightly as you, as your own consciousness. So whether it's disagreeing or agreeing, its appearance is proof of its agreement. The fact that it exists like that, the fact that it exists is proof of its agreement. That is the evidence. The thought, I'm unhappy, is proof that you are happiness, because the appearance of this occurrence is made of happiness. I've gone a bit further than I expected, but it's just what happens with these conversations sometimes. So let's reel it back a bit. If you want to be happy in your life, find small things you can say yes to that don't need changing, and then slowly extend that to small things in your life that need a little bit of change, and accept them. And then some small things in your own thinking and sensations in the body that you can't change, but you can accept them as they are. And just be gentle and start with that. Micro acceptance. The practice of micro acceptance. Allowing things to be as they are. Small things that might be minor irritations. And then you can extend it to bigger things like waiting in line at the grocery or traffic jams. They're quite big things for a lot of people. They used to be for me. Boy, I used to get so So start with those things, yeah, and just let happiness trust that the happiness is within you, but don't trust me, trust that's your nature, and then look for it. The next time you feel happy, just pause and be like, oh wow, why is this? And you'll see you are currently just agreeing with whatever's going on. So that's my little introductory talk, and there's so much beauty to the exploration of your own nature that I probably couldn't even discuss it all in 1,000 videos, and I don't really make a lot of videos, so maybe that changes. Maybe I pour out a celebration. That's what I kind of feel I might do, is I want to celebrate this teaching, and I want to celebrate all the teachers that have taught it throughout time and currently today, and just all the beautiful human beings who are uncovering this glorious nature that belongs to no one but is owned by us all, and doing their best to point to it and transmit it or share it with others. And yeah, feels nice. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.